Here's what we're trying to do with this thing, basically, really simply. We're trying to maintain or increase lean tissue, that's your muscle and bone, okay, bone density, muscle tone. We're trying to decrease fat. I mean, that's really the deal. Obviously, you're going to lose weight because, and this gives us an estimate of how much weight we want to lose, 43 pounds. This is kind of a generic, but it's probably not the end of the world.
No,
it's probably reasonable, okay? So basically, that's what we're trying to do. So two ways we approach it, the two most powerful signalers that we can do behaviorally are exercise and diet. So what kind of exercise? Well, high intensity exercise, the chemistry of doing a high intensity exercise, which is not to be feared, but it's a level of muscle recruitment that you're not used to. If you don't do something that you're not used to, your body's going to maintain homeostasis. It's going to stay where it is. That's your health drive. Your body wants to stay, don't leave me alone, I'm okay, I'm not dying. So we have to induce a change, right? So we have to make a chemistry happen that you're not used to, or it's at a different level with regard to storing fuel and using fuel that's different than what it is. Okay, I mean, that's as simple as it is, as complex as you want to make it. That's really what happens. Okay, so externally we're going to measure body composition, and that's going to tell me internally or metabolically if we're doing the right stuff. Okay, I mean, that's as simple as it gets, and I can go into any kind of detail you want, but who cares? So that's the scoop. So here's what the plan is basically. Twice a week, because if we're going to do something that's of a high intensity, the chemistry that it instigates takes recovery time. If I want you to get a suntan, and you go in the sun 5 days in a row for 5 hours, you ain't getting a suntan. You can't respond to that much stimulus, okay? So you need recovery, stimulus, recovery, stimulus response, then you're capable of instigating a positive change again. So it's not how much exercise you do, it's what chemistry that exercise induces, and then if we follow the physiology, when do we stimulate that thing again? Okay? Now, there's two factors going on. One is exercise, that's this stuff that we're going to do. That's exercise, that's structured muscle recruitment. The other is activity. In order for you not to be sedentary, it requires that you do stuff. And how do you not be sedentary? Well, you do stuff. Now, other things like walking, cycling, things like that, I consider them activity, not exercise. Okay. But those are important, not just for the calorie burn, and the calorie burning thing is really misleading. Okay? Basically, it's not a thermodynamic calories in, calories out, because it depends on what the calories do that you take in to your chemistry. We're trying to change your hormonal milieu, your hormonal status. Okay? That's going to really direct us either towards fat burning or fat storing. And, you know, with women, it's a little more complicated, but basically, if we can keep insulin down, if I injected insulin into you every day, that's a surefire way to make you fat. If you eat carbohydrates, they instigate an insulin response, they drive fat into storage, they make it difficult to get out of storage, they make you hungry. So if I can reduce your hunger, if I can make you get fat out of storage more readily, that's what I'm trying to do with this exercise. This way, some activity and eating low carbohydrate. That's the whole thing in a nutshell.
So if I do boxing classes, sure not.
No, that's fine.
That's fine. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the deal. Very unusual. Now you can do something that feels exhaustive, and it may not be high intensity. If I said, Chris, I want you to go out there and dig me a ditch with a pick and a shovel, 6 feet deep and 30 feet long. That's pretty exhaustive, but it's not productive exercise. Now that may be too much for your body to recover from, but I don't think that the boxing classes, I mean, I'm sure you sweat and stuff like that, and that's fine. That to me is good activity, okay? And you're probably getting a lot of upper body stuff, you're punching, you know, and you're doing a little bit of footwork, okay, I got it. If you start to feel where you're sluggish, and if I can see and hear that somehow we don't have the energy with a 2 or 3 day rest in between, then I would say maybe that's the cause, but I've actually designed boxing classes. I don't think they interfere with this stuff. That hasn't been my history of that happening, so, okay? And then again, the other thing too, with your kind of work that you do, if you can find in the mid-morning and lunch and mid-afternoon a way to do 5 or 6 minutes of getting off your butt and doing something. To me, I'm preparing some studies where we're going to try to study sedentary behavior. Okay, and all I want people to do is get on a bike or something and do something where they're not sitting for more than 2 or 3 hours. That in and of itself is a risk factor. Okay, and they're not sure if exercise, although I'm not sure if it doesn't, offset that. They may be separate and distinct pathways. Okay, activity and exercise. But the exercise commitment, we're talking about less than 20 minutes twice a week. That's it.
Oh, wow,
but it's real exercise. It's not, you know, we're not fiddling around.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So now we're going to do some testing. I'm going to test your upper body strength and your lower body strength. Okay. All right? Walk this.